Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to crack open a really powerful philosophy called lean thinking. It's an incredible way to look at how we get things done, and it's designed to boost efficiency and create way more value, not just at work, but in pretty much any part of your life. So let me ask you something. Ever have one of those days? You're just constantly running around. Your to-do list is a mile long. You feel like you're in motion from morning till night, but when you finally sit down, you realize you haven't actually accomplished anything important. It's that feeling of being busy but not productive. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like when you finish your part of a project and then you're just stuck, totally dead in the water, waiting for someone to give you the green light. Or how about this one? That sinking feeling when you realize you have to go back and fix something that was done wrong. It's literally doing the work twice for the same single result. And, oh, this one's a classic, making way, way too much of something, and then it just sits there, taking up space, collecting dust. Well, it turns out all of these little frustrations, these productivity killers, they all have a name. So how do we fight back? Here's our game plan. First, we're going to expose this unseen enemy and call it what it is. Then, we'll talk about a big shift in mindset, thinking about value instead of waste. After that, we'll get into the good stuff, the 5 core principles that make up the Lean Blueprint. We'll even take a quick look at where this all came from, and believe me, it's a great story. And we'll wrap up with the one thing you can do to get started, like right now. All right, first things first, we have to identify the villain of our story. In the world of lean, that enemy has one name: waste. And we're going to use the Japanese term for it, which is muda. Think of muda as literally anything and everything that gets in your way. So what is muda, really? Well, it's any activity that eats up resources, your time, your money, your energy. But, and this is the crucial part, it adds absolutely zero value from the customer's point of view. And that brings us right to the heart of lean thinking. It's really a mental switch. You have to learn to see everything you do as one of two things. Is this creating value, or is this just waste? Now this right here, this is what I love. It's so simple and so powerful. On one side, you have value. That's what the customer is actually truly willing to pay for. And on the other side, muda, which is, well, it's everything else. All that waiting, all those mistakes. Your customer is not paying for any of that. The whole game is to maximize the value and declare war on the muda. Okay, so that sounds great, right? But how do we actually do it? How do we become waste hunters? Well, that brings us to the Lean Blueprint. This is your step-by-step guide, a 5-part framework for putting it all into action. And here they are. Now listen, the order here is absolutely critical. You can't skip ahead. It all has to start with number 1, define value. You have to know what you're aiming for. Then you map the value stream to see every single step. Only then can you start to create flow by getting rid of the junk. After that, you build a pull system, so you're only doing what's needed. And finally, number 5, you pursue perfection, because this isn't a one-and-done deal. It's a whole new way of thinking. So, principle 1, it all starts here. And the key thing to get is that you don't decide what's valuable. Your company doesn't decide, the customer, and only the customer gets to define value. What problem are they trying to solve? What will they happily pay for? You have to nail this down first. All right, once you know exactly what value is, you get out a metaphorical map. You chart every single step in the process, from the very beginning to the moment it's in the customer's hands. The point here is to make the invisible visible, so you can clearly see, okay, this step adds value, but this one over here, that's pure muda. So once you've identified all that waste, you start getting rid of it. And then the goal is to get the good stuff, the value-creating steps to flow. Think of it like a river. All that waste, all that muda, it's like rocks and dams blocking the water. Creating flow is about clearing out those obstacles so the river of value can move smoothly without any interruptions. Now get ready for this one, because it's a huge shift from how most of the world works. Most systems are push systems. They make a bunch of stuff based on a forecast and then try to push it on people. A pull system flips that on its head. You don't make anything until a customer asks for it, until they pull it from you. This is the ultimate weapon against overproduction. And this analogy just nails it, doesn't it? A push system is like a buffet. The restaurant cooks tons of food, hoping people will show up, and whatever doesn't get eaten, that's waste. A pull system is like a great restaurant that cooks your meal only after you've ordered it. No waste, because it's made on demand. And finally, the fifth principle. Lean isn't a project with an end date. It's a culture, a mindset of continuous improvement. The Japanese have a word for this too, kaizen. It means you're always looking for the next piece of waste to remove, the next improvement to make. The journey toward perfection never, ever stops. So we have these 5 amazing principles, but where in the world did they come from? You might think this was dreamed up in some business school, but you'd be wrong. This idea was forged in the heat and noise of the factory floor. So the story kind of starts way back with Henry Ford. He was the master of flow with his assembly line. But then, decades later, Toyota took Ford's ideas and took them to a whole other level. They created the Toyota production system, adding in flexibility and a relentless obsession with eliminating waste. It wasn't until 1991 that some researchers gave it the name we use today, Lean, in a book that, well, changed the world. And even though it started with making cars, lean thinking has just completely exploded. I mean, look at this list. It's used in software, in startups, in banking, even in hospitals and universities. It turns out that getting rid of waste and focusing on value, well, that works just about everywhere. Okay, so we've covered a lot. But what does it mean for you, right here, right now? How do you actually get started with this?
Well, the answer is way simpler than you might think.
It all comes down to this. The most important skill in lean isn't about fancy spreadsheets or complicated tools. It's about training your eyes. It's about learning to see your world through a new lens, the lens of value and waste. And I promise you, once you start seeing the Muda, you can't unsee it. So I'll leave you with a challenge. Just for today, look around. Look at your work, at your desk, at your daily routine. Can you spot just one thing? One small piece of waste? One little bit of Muda that you can eliminate? Starting right now?